Welcome to the Secrets of Confident Women podcast, where you'll learn all the best tips, tricks, and practical techniques for building the confidence levels you've always wanted. With inspiring interviews, real-life examples, and game-changing insights, this podcast is for women who know that mastering the skill of confidence is one of the most important things they'll ever do.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Secrets of Confident Women podcast. And I am so thrilled to be back with a new season and the opportunity to interview some amazing women. My first guest this year is bestselling fantasy novel author Renee Hayes, who is truly a dream architect. Born in far north Queensland, she read fantasy novels as a child to escape the troubles of real life, and she dreamed of becoming a writer. But early life had other plans. She left home at 15, had her daughter young, became a single mum, and worked hard as a dental nurse to buy herself a home when she was just 24 years old. The real challenge, however, came when she had a debilitating back injury that left her bedridden for months. And despite being in excruciating pain, she found herself turning to her greatest solace, writing. Armed with nothing but a notebook and lying flat on her back, Renee penned her first novel, The Girl Who Broke the World, which received critical acclaim and the prestigious Editor's Pick from Publishers Weekly. Renee has since written the sequel and is currently writing her third novel. From overcoming adversity to conquering her dreams, Renee's journey is a testament to the power of perseverance, resilience, and unwavering determination. And I'm thrilled that she is here today to talk more about her journey and how she managed her confidence throughout all of that. So, Renee, welcome to the Secrets of Confident Women podcast.
Thank you, Jodie. I'm so happy to be chatting to you today.
Great. And it is a journey. When I read through your bio and your history before even writing the first novel, it was like, wow, how do people manage all this and still follow their dreams? And, it's easy, I guess, to give up on dreams, especially when we are faced with adversity and the perils of life, isn't it? But you've sort of managed to battle through and really still, as we said, persevere to keep on that path.
Yeah. It's been a wild ride. Like people say life gets in the way.
Yes.
But I guess that is life. There's always going to be something in the way. There always has been something in the way. Yeah, you've just got to work around it, I guess.
That's right. All right, well, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your journey to writing your first novel.
Well, yeah, so I've always loved writing, even when I was a kid. At school, there's always one thing you're good at. You're either the creative kid or the sporty kid. And I wasn't really great at much, but I did win, like little trophies and things for story writing every year, which gives you that sort of, I must be good at this.
Yes.
And I loved reading heaps because, you just get into a fantasy world and it just was so amazing and it just took you away from real life. So just the feeling of reading someone's story and they're in a different world and then you could imagine that it was yourself. It was like, this is it. This is magic. And as I got older and life got in the way and things happen as they do, I sort of lost that.
Yeah.
You lose that childhood spark and you don't find time to read and all these things get in the way. And I woke up one morning on a Saturday morning in absolute agony. And I thought, oh my gosh, what have I done? It's okay. Just lay here. You've pinched something. It'll go away,
Yes,
just convincing yourself. And it didn't. After 3 hours of laying in bed in excruciating pain, crying, I rang the doctors and they came to the house and he confirmed that there was extreme pressure on all my nerves in my spine and that I've possibly burst a disc in my back.
Oh, my goodness.
And just don't move, you'll be fine. I was like, oh, my gosh, can I have something? No, you're fine. You just have some Panadol.
Yes.
You'll be better in a few weeks. A few weeks came and I was not better.
Wow.
Yeah, so after an MRI and seeing that the disc had indeed burst in my back and there was extreme pressure on all the nerves running down my right leg, I was pretty much in bed for about 6 months.
Oh,
In absolute agony. No painkillers offered, nothing. Was just like, you'll be all right. You know, people deal with this all the time. You're a woman, you'll be fine. And I just
wow.
could not concentrate on anything other than the pain. And that's when I thought, well, I'm just lying here. I have to do something. And
Yeah.
that's where reading came back to me. And I started writing my own book, because some of the books I was reading, I was like, oh, I really wish the character would do this. So I really wish this would happen. And I was like, well, there's not much else I can do. So I got my notepad and pen my daughter got for me. And I just started writing, because there was literally nothing else I could do.
Wow.
And I didn't lay there and do nothing.
That's it. Yeah.
That would just be the worst.
Yeah. Wow. And obviously you got better and out of bed. And then how did you take it from, oh, I've got this sort of draft, to then keep going with it, you know, and really get it published?
Well, actually, the biggest thing that sort of like made me go, oh, wow, this is like something I could actually do, was my best friend. She was like, what? You've written a book? My gosh, you got to let me read it. And just like, with this podcast about confidence, and
Yes.
there's nothing scarier than someone reading. And I was like, no, come on, she's your best friend. Like, she'll be honest. She took it away. She went hiking with her partner for the weekend, and she read the book to her partner whilst they were hiking the mountains, and she came back absolutely just blown away. Like, Renee, you have to do something with this.
Yeah.
This is really good. Like,
Yes.
I was like, really? So it only really takes that one person that you trust. And especially if you haven't had family, or you haven't never had that in your life, and you know this person, you're like, wow, okay, well, you know, maybe I should do something with this. Maybe like this horrible big accident and everything in my life that's always gotten in the way has happened for a reason. And
Yeah.
why not? And
Yeah.
you just say, well, why not?
Yes.
Like, one person loved it, and I made that one person feel happy and feel that little magic spark that you got when, you know, when you're a kid. I got
Yeah.
it back. So that's sort of where I went from there. And I wasn't at rock bottom to say, but when you just, everything else, you just go, well, why not?
Yeah.
What's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, the worst has already happened.
Yeah.
So many of the worst things have already happened in my whole life. Like, why am I scared? And I just went for it, really.
Awesome. As you say, like, what is the worst that can happen? You got to give it a go. And I obviously sometimes go, I just don't want to die wishing I tried, or wishing I had, you know, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like, until you give it a go, then it is the unknown. So it's a great insight. And especially, I love how you said that sometimes, even when you don't have that, maybe that family or the upbringing where you have a lot of support and feedback or whatever, and then that one person in your life, I mean, your friend, she's probably didn't realize at the time how much of an impact that was going to be on you, and to change your life. Like, it's going to change your life. Someone giving you positive reinforcement and encouragement. You know, what a great thing that is, that we can give out to other people in the world and not realize the difference that that can make for somebody.
That is exactly right. Like, even you're just saying, if you don't have that family support or any support, and some people don't have that in themselves. The other thing I was going to say is, I was thinking, like, women have done this for hundreds of years, thousands of years. I always would think, like, even when I was having my daughter, and that was terrifying, or when I was homeless, or when I had no food, I thought, people have survived, women have survived horrible things before. I can do this. Like, they could do it, I could do it. And if you're not that confident person, and you need that one person in your life, like, I don't think she realized how much it sort of ignited something in my brain, like, wow, someone thinks something I've made is good. You can be that for other people.
That's it.
You can be that person for other people, or if you have no one, you can be that person for yourself.
Yeah.
Since then, I've just gone, no, you know what, Renee, like, I'll talk to myself and I'll be like, you can do this.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Why not? You'd rather look back and go, even if you failed at something, you're like, well, at least I tried.
Yes.
At least I did. Like, I did all these things and I wasn't good at this one thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, because then after that I was like, okay, that wasn't for me. And then I tried something new and different, and I gave it a go, because you can have these dreams and be like, I want to be a best-selling fantasy author one day. I want to be Australia's YA fantasy number one. I want people to see my books and have a feeling of going, oh, that's a Renee Hayes book. Like, I bet you it's good. Or, get that little
Yeah.
spark of creativity. But it's never going to happen if I just sit here and do nothing
And
about
think
it.
about it. Yeah, that's right.
Just think about it.
Yeah.
So even like I want to look back in 10 years or 20 years and know like these tiny little steps that I'm making. It might feel some days like you're getting nowhere, like, oh, you want to give up or you think, oh, I'm wasting my time. But why think that? Like, you never know, like all this little hard work you're putting in now, it all adds up to the big dream that you want one day.
Absolutely.
This is for me.
Yeah.
This is something I want to do and prove to my friends and my daughter and people that actually care about me and want to see my dreams. I want to do it to show them like I can. And yeah.
I love it. I love it. Sounds like you should also write some personal development books, because that was like
Well, thank you.
that was great. It's like, anyway, we're going to get into more of that, and that's why we're sharing you on this podcast, because it's like, what is it that gets you through, like gets you to take these big steps and for women to take these big steps? But I've got a couple of questions that we start all our episodes with. And the first one is, what does confidence or being a confident woman mean to you?
To me, I wasn't a very confident younger woman because I just really like the world was scary and it was almost a fear of putting yourself out there. To me, it's just having it go.
Yeah.
It's being scared or anxious or whatever it is, or not wanting to do the thing, but just doing it anyways.
Yeah.
Like, because really, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, you get over that little bit of fear and afterwards you'll go, like I did it. So just really just that little push, and no one can like give you that push. You've got to do it yourself. You've got to go, no, like I'm worth this. I can do it.
And we shouldn't rely on other people to do it for it. You know what I mean? We've got to be, it's not up to them to make us feel good about ourselves. It's up to us to make us feel good about ourselves.
Yeah, it might even be that little excuse like, oh, but I'll wait till so-and-so wants me to do it. Or I'll wait till so-and-so says like, oh, that's a good idea. No, because that's just like you're putting it off because might be that little bit scared, or, no one's going to give you your dreams.
That's it.
Like if you want it, you've just got to be brave and giving it a go, even if you have no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And when are you the most confident version of yourself?
Oh, probably after I've hung out with my girlfriends.
Okay, yeah.
My friends, or spent time with my daughter, or positive people. You can be positive and, be brave and proud in yourself. And that's like a really good thing to do on a daily basis. But after just being around other people like-minded that have that same vibe, and just talking to them about things that they're doing in their lives that are positive and what they're working towards, and also your own things, that's when I feel like the best, like, wow, because like they might be, what are you doing and what have they accomplished? And then it just, I don't know, you just like get around like-minded people and the same energies, and it just gives you a boost.
It gives you a boost. Absolutely. I do exactly the same. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've faced so much adversity and you've never let those challenges stop you from chasing your dream of becoming a writer. So how have you looked at these challenges in a way that allows you to be so resilient against them?
I thought hard about this question. There was sort of one point in my life where everything just kept going wrong. Everyone was treating me badly, everything that was happening. And there's like real risk of falling into the victim. Oh, poor me. Like, why is this happening to me? And like, I don't deserve this. And I pulled myself out and I said, hang on, like, no, I don't deserve this. I've actually done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I sort of got a little bit, not angry, but sort of like, how dare these people treat me like this? How dare like life make me feel like this? I want to be happy. Like, I've done nothing wrong. And like other people can do things to you that are really horrible, and then that's on them. That's not on you. And I just thought, no, you know what? Like, I just have to do what I can do and not let what they're doing affect me, because I don't deserve this. And I sort of just thought, I'm already alone. I'm already miserable when all these things happen. Like, what can I do? Like, I'm already feeling this bad. Like, and I just have to go, I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
And realize that you don't deserve it. Other people can treat you that way and make you feel horrible. And the only power you have is to not let it get to you and go, no, I deserve better.
Yeah.
I am better. I didn't deserve any of that. And look, that's like life will give you things that you don't deserve. Life's always going to have bad things in it. Bad things are always going to happen. And the only thing you can do about it is the way that you can deal when those bad things come. You
Yeah.
can't hide. They're always going to find you. They're always going to get you. There's always that fight or flight, and you can run away. It works sometimes, but you'll get to the point where there's no more running. No matter where you hide, no matter where you go, bad things are always still going to happen.
It sounds like you looked more at like, well, what can I control and what can't I control? Because there's things that happen, but then it's like taking that, initiative's the wrong word, but you know what I mean? Like taking that on to say, well, what can I do here? What can I affect and what can't I affect? And then focusing on what difference you can make for yourself and your life.
Yeah, pretty much just like there might be the problem or the thing or whatever's affecting you, just spinning it around and looking at it every single way, finding that little way that you can actually do something to change it or make it go away or make it better, because there's so many things you can't control. There's so many things that will happen to you in your whole life that aren't your fault or you can't do anything about. And there's always like, you just look at it a different way and there'll be some little way that you can do, and that'll give you power.
Yes.
Even if it's the tiniest little thing that you can do something. You can't just, you know, instead of just sitting there and letting these things happen and weigh you down and down and down, there's always one little thing you can do. It might not feel like something at the time, but at least you've done something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I loved how you said earlier that it's like sometimes the bad things or the challenges actually push you onto the right path. I mean, at the time with your back injury, you must have thought, oh my God, like what the hell is like, I'm busting my ass here to do all these stuff and I've got a daughter and I'm trying to like, but then ultimately that did sort of push you back into your dream. You know, if you hadn't have had all that time lying in bed with a notepad to go, well, I can't just damn well lie here, I've got to do something. You know, maybe, you know, you wouldn't have actually got on to writing that novel as early as you did, you know. So I love how you sort of saw the opportunity in those challenges, because sometimes that those bad things or those challenges that come along actually get you back on the path of where you should have been.
Exactly what you just said is sort of what I came to think like I was like, why? Like I'd gotten the house, like my daughter was doing great. She was healthy. She's got a few health issues that I was working through too. We'd got a diagnosis. Everything was sorted. I'd been at the dentist. I'd finished my apprenticeship and I was, been there for 5 or 6 years. Everything in life was sort of like, oh, like I've done all these things that I dreamed about doing 10 years ago. And then I injured my back and I was like, why? And I was like, no, you know what? Like, and you've got to dream too. You've got to be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll be a famous author one day. And I never would have been able to write the book if I didn't slow down, because it was going a million miles an hour trying to keep up with all these things that I had to, especially on your own, raising kids and everything else that you're expected to do is a lot. Yeah. And I just so exhausted, and I now look, I go, well, the universe wanted me to write that.
Yes, exactly.
It wanted me to slow down. It might not have been the nicest opportunity, but it was still an opportunity and I didn't want to waste it.
It's still an opportunity. Yeah, I love that. It's just always looking for that opportunity. I think you've sort of answered my next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because we want to really clarify, because you've said so much about what you've done when your confidence is low. But tell us a time when you had low confidence and what you did to build it back up again.
When I was younger and I had really low confidence, I would sort of look to other women that I not idolized, but sort of thought, oh, I love the way when I hang out with her, she makes me feel happy afterward. Or even little things like I love the way she dresses, or
modeling someone else, like, well, how do they do it and how do they make themselves feel, and how, rather than putting someone on a pedestal, oh, they're better than me or whatever. It's just that, like, well, how do they do it, and can I take on some of those ideas or traits or ways?
Yeah, and it wasn't like I want to be them or I want to be like them. I was sort of looking at how they did things and made their own lives better. And especially, I think when you grow up and you don't have many adult role models or positive ones, you've got no clue. And you sort of get into life and you're like, well, like, you know, you've got to find your own information in life sometimes, because no one's going to just hand you all the answers. So if when my confidence is low, I'll also do things that I know that will make me feel better. Like I love gardening. I love being in the garden. I love reading. I'll just do little things really well. And then you get that
Yes.
sort of little sense of your brain's going, good job, like
Yeah.
that feeling. And it's like not chasing the dopamine hit, but it's also like just rewarding yourself for putting the
Yes.
effort into finding little things that make you feel good, because
Absolutely.
there's so many things in this world that is so easily to be drawn to make you feel, especially if you've had a life more exposed to negative things and trauma and that, your brain instantly goes to that almost like it's a comfort,
Right.
especially and when
Yeah.
you don't want to be like that or you don't want those feelings, it's even harder to find different ways to do things or different things to create the new person you want to be, the positive person or the fit person or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
When you find even a tiny thing, you've got to reward yourself and go, even if it's like, wow, I made a cup of tea and I sat down and I
Yes.
chilled out. I did a really good job. You've got to go
Yes.
pat yourself on the back.
It is. It's refocusing, because it's so easy for, as you say, for our brains to focus on the negative. It's so easy for that to be drawn in all the time. You actually have to consciously try to get yourself on that track of, oh, good on me, and give yourself that, as you say, that pat on the back. But it doesn't come naturally. You actually have to put a bit of effort into that, don't you?
Oh, 100%. Like you can just get so used to letting life give you all these things and just taking them and being miserable. And you can almost get into like where you think that's you now. Like that's your personality.
I know.
And you might wake up and be miserable and just think, oh, well, let's just. And it's like, no, you can change these things. It's going to be hard. Like it's not going to be easy. Nothing you really want and good in life is going to be easy, but you can do it.
Absolutely.
And it sounds silly. Like you might feel like I'll feel silly some days where I'm like, oh yeah, like I did this. And I'll say to my partner, what did you do today that made you feel good? Like, oh, well, I planted these plants and one of them actually grew. And it might just be the most ridiculous little thing. But it's like, it's great because you're focusing on something that before you'd be focusing on the negative thing that happened.
Yeah.
It might be a small negative thing that happened in the day, like someone yelled at you in road rage or you spilled coffee or anything. But rather than focusing on that and letting that spread toxically throughout the whole day, you're like, oh, but my flower turned out really good that I was hoping for the last 3 weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's not silly at all. It's being really present to what is here and now, and there's so much joy, there's so much great stuff, there's so much positive that is around. You just have to make the effort to see it and focus on it. Yeah, it's so easy to be drawn into all the negative, but yeah, as you say, make that effort to be on the positive. And they're the moments that is about a great life. It's the small things rather than those big things that don't last. It's the daily small things, having that first cup of coffee. I always go, oh, my God, I love this first cup of coffee. The second coffee never, ever tastes as good as that first cup of coffee. But that first one's like, oh, I love this cup of coffee.
I do the same thing. And I'm so glad you said that, because sometimes even at night, if I've got these negative thoughts and stuff coming, when you lay down and that's the quiet time and probably the hardest time for me to not think about them. Sometimes I'll even think, oh, man, in the morning that coffee's going to
Yes, exactly. Well, that's actually my next question was about negative thinking, that we all experience negative thinking and self-doubt at times. So what do you do to manage when those thoughts can overtake us, or the self-doubt? What do you do to keep yourself on track? Even when you're writing your next novel, how do you manage the inevitable self-doubt that comes up?
Yeah, it comes. Like sometimes you just think, oh gosh, like, because you read and you work in the same thing and you've read things that are just amazing. And then sometimes I'll be like, oh gosh, like, this is rubbish. Like, what am I doing? Like, people are going to, and that comes.
Yes.
I used to go, no, and shut myself off really quickly from it.
Right.
And go, no, you know what? You're still doing something. And that really works, just shutting yourself down and instantly trying to think of positives, like almost catching yourself, falling back into that old way. Like, no. That's what old Renee did that wasn't an author.
Yeah.
She wasn't, she hadn't accomplished this. But lately, if something really bad happens and I can't shut it off quickly, I've actually had some advice and sort of you sit with it for a little bit.
Right.
And it's not nice. You feel horrible. and you think about it and you let yourself actually, like, even if you get like a little heart flutter or you feel like you're physically like, oh, I don't want to be thinking, you just, if you have the time to sit there and you think about that thing and let it pass.
Right.
And then it's gone.
Yeah.
You've thought it. It's not always niggling there trying to get you to feel it. You've dealt with that, and you can say to your brain, no, I dealt with that.
I felt
horrible for that little amount of time.
Oh, I like
and now
that technique. Yeah.
so that's a new one I've sort of thought, and I've done it a few times and it has worked. It's not nice, but you remember sitting there feeling bad.
Yes.
And remember dealing with it. And then you can go, if it comes back, you go, oh, no, that's right, I dealt with that. And you don't get that horrible sinking feeling because you sat through it.
You've sort of worked it through rather than, the logic of it. And
Yeah.
It is inevitable that these self-doubt comes up. And I think that's where people sort of get off tracks when they're chasing their dreams, because maybe they want to be a writer like you, or maybe they want to be a podcaster, or maybe they want to, do XYZ. And then they witness somebody else doing it better, bigger, different, and you do go into that place of, what I'm doing is crap. This is what, but I say to clients, that's part of the journey of that. Like, you can't avoid that, but working through those feelings, working through that someone's probably going to write a better book than you, and it's going to be different. It's not necessarily better, it's different. And not everything that's written differently appeals to everybody. So, what you're going to write, I know when I was writing my book, I kept saying to myself, because again, I had the same, like, oh my God, who's going to read this? And I kept saying my mantra, or my thought that I always said was, yes, but nobody can write it like I can write it. Like,
yes.
And the way I write it, the way I'm going to present this information is different to anyone else that's ever been on the planet. And it's going to appeal to some people, and some people it's not going to appeal to. They're going to want that information presented in a different way. But there are some people that it's going to appeal to. So I just kept writing for them, and that's probably where you're at as well, is like, it's just writing for the people that are going to read, that love fantasy novels. As you said, I love how you're saying, like, they're going to read your name and see that novel and then go, oh, it's going to be a great book. I've read these before, That's who you write for, and that's who the self-doubt, you get through for.
Yeah, no one is going to write it just like you, and everyone's not going to like that, but there's going to be people out there that instantly connect. They might be similar to you or just love the way you've written something, and then they're your people, and that's what you're writing for. You're like,
that's
those
right.
people to make, oh, yes, that book, like, I like the way that one was made. I like that person, the way the person did that. Because there's millions of books. There's millions of writers. Like, people have done things over the world for years and years and years. And like before, when I was saying, oh, that book's really, really good, that's because I think that book's way better.
Yes.
Because that's my doubt there. But you don't see the hard work.
No.
I always look into people, like how I was saying before, I like to aspire to be like people I think have done a really good job at something. If you've actually looked into those people, the amount of work they did,
yes,
you don't see the years they spent on that. You don't know what their lives are like. You don't know how much support they have.
Yeah. And how much self-doubt that they've battled through to write that, We think it's so easy because you're seeing that finished product. But, they've probably dealt with all the self-doubt the same, It's just getting that through. That's part of the process. It's always part of the process.
And they're making themselves, their confidence is showing then, because they've been through all that, and they're so confident, and that's why they are becoming so successful, because they've been working through the same things that everyone else has to work through.
That's right.
That's why you can look at them and go, well, they've been working on their confidence for years, because they obviously have had, like, the bigger you get, the more people are going to be negative to you as well.
Yeah.
You might have, like, you'll find more people that love you. You'll find more people that hate you too. And
that's right.
They just keep going. So it's their confidence. So, no, I'm finding my people, and you just ignore the bad, or you go, oh, well, that's not for me, because that's not what I'm looking for. Push that aside. But you can look at what they've done, and they probably weren't the most confident people when they started either, but they kept going.
Yeah.
And they kept working towards it.
They did.
And I just think, well, they got there one day. So if I keep going, I'll get somewhere as well.
That's right. Exactly. And you gave it a shot, and it's like being proud of yourself that you just gave it a go and didn't just sit there wishing that stuff's going to happen, because it doesn't happen by wishing. It happens by doing and just giving stuff a red hot go.
Yeah.
So, all those books that you've read are people that gave it a red hot go, and there's probably hundreds of amazing authors that never wrote the book, that never battled through or dealt with the self-doubt or did the challenges. And they probably could have had amazing books out there too, but they didn't get the action taken to produce that result. So that's what we've all got to keep focused on all the time.
Especially what you just said there, like people will say, oh, well, your book's not that great. Oh, well, and you can just think, yeah, but
do you have a book?
You never wrote a book. Yeah, you can think, well, there could be amazing books that never get written. So even if mine's not that amazing, I've written it.
That's right.
I did the thing.
That's right.
You can't let people push you down that haven't even given it a go. And there are so many people that are like, oh, well, it's like, yeah, well, you didn't give it a go.
Oh, I think I've said on this podcast many a time that there's lots of people with advice and opinions about shit they know nothing about. So it's like sometimes, I got parenting advice from people who didn't have children. I got writing book advice from people who had never written a book. I still get business advice for people who aren't running business. You go, okay, so, you have to not take it all as the truth or as gospel and still follow your own heart and find the information that works for you. So
yeah.
Now, quickly, you have a nearly teenage daughter. What is one thing that you want her to know that you wish that you'd known as a teenager?
Oh, I just want her to know that nothing bad is going to come of being brave and confident and being yourself.
Oh,
I just look at her and I was just so shy and scared. I would be scared to say things, or I just didn't have the confidence. And there's nothing I can't give it to her, but I can assure her and have her back and say, just go for it.
Yes.
Like really already, she's only 12, but I can just see the way she can express herself and be silly and happy. I couldn't do that. I'd be always fearing of, oh, what are you doing? Like, that's silly. Like,
what people would think. And
I just want her to be comfortable in herself and be herself without feeling like she's doing anything wrong. Or I just want her to grow up to be the woman that she should be without pressing down on her or making her feel less
than. Yeah, that's great. I love it. Okay, so we end all our podcasts with our Rise Women Power questions. Yep. So what do you wish every woman knew, Renee?
Oh, I wish every woman knew that you're not going to get in trouble to be yourself.
Oh.
You're allowed to do it.
Great.
You're allowed to do the thing you want to do. So just go for it.
Yeah, just go for it. What is your superpower?
Probably my amazing girlfriends.
Okay, excellent. I love that. We've never had that one before. That is a good one.
Oh, other confident women, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Yeah. Now, we got a whole shoe thing going on. So we do heels or flats over the years. We've had all sorts of different things that come into it. People have said, riding boots, Wellington boots. We've had barefoot. Essentially, it's heels or flats. Like, what just makes you feel confident?
Oh, gosh, flats.
Okay. Oh, you're a flats, yeah.
100%, yeah. Okay. I've even rolled my ankle in flats. Flats or thongs.
Oh, excellent. Your favourite quote or a rule that you live by?
This one sounds like counterintuitive, like negative, but it's not. But I always say you get what you get and you don't get upset.
Oh, okay.
You get a little bit upset, but you get what you get and then you move on with it and you deal with it.
Great. Oh, I love that. That is powerful. Who inspires you and why?
Oh, probably the other women in my life that I surround myself with.
Great.
Friends and also my friends' mothers.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and just the women that I see just fighting for their goals and going to uni and creating homes and businesses and all around me, and then they support me with my dreams. So, yeah.
Very good.
Other women giving it a go, I think.
Yeah, other women giving it a go. And I'll say it's important because you've chosen those people to bring into your life too. So that's a very good strategic thing to do, to make sure you're surrounded by the people who rise you up rather than push you down, right? We've got to be conscious of that as a choice.
I think, that's one I've learned in the last 2 years, definitely. There will be some people you think you're so close to and they really don't want the best for you.
Yeah.
It's almost sounds a little bit selfish to choose people to be around that are great, but, they're the ones that are going to lift you up and
for sure.
you want to lift up and make you feel good. Everything really, you've got to think about how it makes you feel, go with your gut and what those people feel like around them. So
absolutely. And finish this sentence. If I had even more confidence than I do now, I would?
Be even more famous.
Write more books and go hard.
Write more books. I would have done a lot of things a lot sooner in my life.
It all comes at the right time, Renee. It all comes at the right time. It all comes at the right time. Well, thank you so much for sharing your, my goodness, wisdom beyond your years, but just your insight and your wisdom and giving us a bit of a taste of, your life and what you've done to get yourself through, as we said from the beginning, all the adversity, all the challenges, but, you've really stepped in and taken life on and said, no, this is the way it's going to go for me and my daughter, and I'm going to live this happy life and do, what I dream of doing with your writing. So I love that you've come on and shared that with us, and I really thank you for everything you've done on the podcast today and talked to us about.
Thank you for listening. Thanks for having me on here.
You are welcome. And thank you to everyone for listening today. And remember, there are so many ways that we can help you become the confident woman you've always wanted to be. So please get in touch with us or visit risewomen.com. We want to ensure that confidence is every woman's new normal by getting our programs and resources out to as many women as possible. So until next time, remember, with confidence, anything is possible. Bye for now.